Don't let YouTube decide what information you get. That's your choice. YouTube is deleting our videos and cuts you off from a source of honest reporting. Make sure you don't lose access to NTD's news content, and take a quick moment to subscribe to our newsletter so no matter what happens here, you'll keep your access to a trustworthy news source.
Yahoo says it's completely pulled out of China, and it's not the first well-known company to do so. An expert says it may not be the last. NTD's Evelyn Lee has the details.
Yahoo just stopped all its remaining online services in China Monday. A spokesperson says it's because the increasing challenging business and legal environment in China. On the same date, China's personal information protection law went into effect.
In China, it's just getting very, very hard for companies like Yahoo or LinkedIn to maintain a presence because their business model depends on for streams of information that come from data providers, news providers, users.
LinkedIn also recently decided to shut down operations in China. It says it was facing a significantly more challenging operating environment and greater compliance requirements. Core says just recently Chinese officials asked the company to remove people from the Chinese version of its website.
It's not feasible from a just pure profit perspective to be operating in China anymore for some of these companies, especially if they are going to be hit with huge fines for improperly censoring their own content.
And because of it, he says there is a very high likelihood that there will be increasing decoupling from the West. China's clampdown on tech companies wiped away trillions, and then it tightened gaming regulations. Now Epic Games is shutting down Fortnite in China.
It's been proven time and time again in history that communist approaches to economics, command economic approaches, just don't work. They drive out capital. They decrease the efficiency of the production process.
Core says he doesn't think the Chinese regime wants to have a closed economy, but it's going in that direction because Chinese leaders think they have more control over the economy than they can possibly have. Evelyn Lee, NTD News.
November 1st is the deadline for San Francisco city employees to be vaccinated. According to the city's mayor, about 3% of their workforce remains unvaccinated. About 90 of them are public transit operators, which raises concerns of possible disruptions. NTD's Jason Blair has the story.
As of November 1st, employees for the city of San Francisco who are not vaccinated will lose their jobs. This applies to police officers, firefighters, and also operators for the city's public transit service, Muni.
Our transit operators, the bloodline that gives life to this city, because without us, nobody goes to work, school, church, shopping, their doctor's office, etc.
Roger Marenko is the president of the Transport Workers Union Local 250A, the group that represents the city's Muni workers. He said he's glad to see the vaccination numbers have gone up and more employees can keep their jobs. However, there are about 90 operators that have yet to get the shot. The situation hasn't been easy, especially with all the other stresses operators have on a daily basis.
For our operators to have to be subjected to a forced mandated vaccination policy is just another burden on them. So it's been tough, it's been difficult.
The city of San Francisco announced a vaccine requirement in July, including the 90 Muni operators. The city's mayor said on Friday that a total of 836 employees out of 35,000 have yet to be vaccinated. The San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency stated last month that they do expect there to be noticeable service disruptions starting November 1st. Jason Blair, NTD News, San Francisco.
In Philadelphia, customers gather to support a local bakery. The business had to close its doors after the two who run it were both diagnosed with cancer. NTD's Chenny Wu has the story.
Miss Rachel's pantry is alive with food, drinks, and music. On Monday, customers and friends hosted a cocktail party to raise funds for the artisan boulangerie bakery. The business closed after owners Amanda Yip and Andre Chin were both diagnosed with cancer.
I shocked. I was crying. I couldn't speak. I couldn't say nothing.
That's when customers stepped in and organized a fundraising event. Friends also made a GoFundMe page for the couple, which has already raised nearly $100,000.
We were all concerned about them because they both could not operate their business because of their health issues.
Why did customers do all this?
I could tell you why. Everybody, they love Amanda and Andre. They're such good people. Beside being excellent bakers.
It's just they're so kind and they're humorous and they introduce me to different things in the world I wouldn't see normally.
You can see them working every single day, working their butts off, and they put everything that they have into their work, and they're just wonderful, dedicated people.
Yep said she was surprised by the support from the community.
I never thought a lot of people love me that much, you know.
Andre Chin was too weak to be interviewed. Chenny Wu, NTD News.
Meta, formerly known as Facebook, announced today that it will no longer use facial recognition on its app beginning in the coming weeks. NTD's David Lamb reports.
Facial recognition is exactly what it sounds like. It's software that recognizes faces. It finds a face shown by the white squares and compares it to other photos and videos of the same person. Now, in a statement released on Tuesday, Meta, or formerly known as Facebook, announced that it is shutting down its face recognition system in the coming weeks.
The company says it will delete more than 1 billion people's individual facial templates. This is part of a company-wide move to limit the use of face recognition in their products. According to the statement, more than a third of Facebook's daily active users have opted in to its face recognition setting. The VP of Artificial Intelligence stated they need to weigh the positive use cases against growing societal concerns, especially as regulators have yet to provide clear rules. At the annual Technology Web Summit on Monday, an executive said the company is moving towards transparency.
At least for us at Meta, it is that I think that this will accelerate more transparency, including over algorithms, more research, including about kids online, and more regulation.
This comes as Facebook was under fire after whistleblower Frances Haugen and Sophie Zhang spoke up about ethical concerns at the company.
One of the VPs said this will represent one of the largest shifts in facial recognition usage in the technology's history. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
And China's Civil Aviation Administration is cutting down international flights to just 400 per week. NTD's Evelyn Lee has more.
The China Civil Aviation Administration is adopting a new schedule. According to an announcement on Friday, international passenger flights will drop to just over 400 per week. That's even 20% less than that during the pandemic's peak last year. And compared to the flight schedule before the pandemic, just over 2% of flights remain. The change took effect at the end of October and will run till late March. At the same time, domestic flights inside mainland China have seen an over 7% growth compared to the same seasons last year. China greatly reduced its international flights back at the height of the pandemic in March 2020. This embraced a policy saying that one airline company can only fly to one destination in one country once a week. The policy sent ticket prices soaring immediately, and many Chinese people who had been traveling were left stuck outside China. According to U.S.-based international broadcaster Voice of America, the new schedule wants to make sure that Beijing's Winter Olympics in February and Paralympic Games in March will run smoothly. China will likely face new tariffs. At least 32 countries may have ended their trade preference program with China. That's what the Chinese Customs Agency said last week. And we reached out to the foreign trade offices of France, Canada, and the UK, but didn't hear back before airtime. The trade program is called the Generalized System of Preferences, better known as GSP. It's a preferential tariff system that reduces tariffs on various products that will come from developing countries. Or in the U.S.'s case, those products would enter duty-free. The Chinese agency's statement says following the change next month, the regime will stop issuing GSP certificates of origin on products exported to the 27 EU countries, as well as the UK, Canada, Turkey, Ukraine, and Liechtenstein. The document is required by customs authorities to collect tariffs. The agency told Chinese exporters to switch to non-preferential certificates of origin for these countries. This type of certificate is not entitled to lower tariff rates. The GSP trade program was first adopted internationally in 1968. 40 countries had reduced tariffs for China under the program, including EU countries. Under the framework of the World Trade Organization, the program is supposed to encourage economic growth in developing countries by allowing them preferential access to developed country markets. Already being the world's second largest economy, China still insists it's a developing country. If it loses that status, China may face higher tariffs and the removal of other preferential trade treatment. But in recent years, more and more countries ended the GSP trade program with China. That includes Russia, Japan, and Switzerland. And up to now, only Norway, New Zealand, and Australia are still granting China that trade treatment.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to catch all of our programs on TV. NTD Evening News is on every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Find your local NTD channel at ntd.com/TV.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
There's reporting that can be trusted. There are programs that can inspire every generation. There is a television network worth watching and sharing. Our commitment is to bring you the facts and to show you the world. We won't be divided by politics, and we won't be swayed by the dollar. We believe in the strength of our nation and the hope in our shared humanity. We are NTD Television, and we are proud to bring you news you can trust and programs that make you smile. NTD Television, news you can trust.